What's up guys, I'm Vince and this is VinceVentures. This is a story of how my brother and I took our late grandfather's 1996 Renault Megane for a spin around the continent and drove over 7,000 kilometers in 14 days to Europe's most northern point and back home. As mentioned in the first video, I will try to make a video for each day containing our route, preparations, camping spots or Airbnbs and recommendations on what to do if you ever plan on doing a similar trip, which I can only recommend. So let's start at the beginning. When planning the trip, we quickly realized that Scandinavia is too expensive to stay in hotels every night. Luckily, we found an old tent in our parents' basement. It only had one small hole which we fixed like professionals with duct tape. Then we packed our at least 10-year-old sleeping bags and camping mattresses and packed the car full of canned food and snacks so we could afford the trip. Here you can see a detailed packing list, and I have to say we didn't miss anything on the trip. Of course, we equipped ourselves a little bit for camping and bought a camping cooker and dishes at Decathlon and a camping light with a dynamo. In addition, we rented a drone for a month, which was so worth the money. Beginning with next week's video, you will see a lot of beautiful drone footage that we recorded along the way. We also brought some insect repellent because if you're going camping in Scandinavia, you have to be aware of mosquitoes in case you're staying near a lake. On our first day, we got up relatively early and started driving at 8 a.m. For our first day, we planned on driving directly via Denmark to Norway because we couldn't wait to explore a new country. According to Google Maps, the travel time was about 9 hours. We had booked a ferry at 10:15 p.m. from Hirtshals-Larvik 2 months ahead for €114. Also, for driving in Scandinavia, it is recommended to register your license plate on epass24.com to pay the road user charges online. As we started to drive, we encountered the usual traffic jam in the Rhine-Ruhr metropolitan region, but after only a few hours we already left Hamburg behind and drove towards the Danish border. Right before the border, we stopped for the first time, also because we weren't sure if the fuel gauge worked. We only used around half the tank for nearly 600 kilometers, meaning a fuel consumption of less than around 5 liters per 100 kilometers, and that with a 4-speed automatic transmission going 120 kilometers all the way. Since we have never been driving so far with our grandfather's car before, we didn't exactly know how the fuel consumption would turn out, and we were super excited to see that we've used much less than expected. We fueled up for the first time with cheap petrol, expecting the fuel prices only to rise the closer we would get to the north. Also, we stopped at Lidl for a snack. Because we didn't know how the traffic would turn out, we had our ferry reservation for 10:15. As we made surprisingly fast progress, we decided to head into Denmark and to make a stop in Aalborg. What a beautiful city that is. It reminded me a little bit of a Dutch city like Maastricht, with the clean streets, fancy little stores and street art everywhere. We wandered around for about 2 hours and at 8 p.m. we drove the last hour to Hirtshals so we wouldn't miss our ferry. The ferry ride itself was smooth all the way and took around 3 hours and 45 minutes. We tried to take a nap, but I couldn't really relax unlike many others on board, so we more or less walked around until we arrived in the middle of the night at Larvik in Norway. We drove off the ferry and 20 minutes to our beautiful Airbnb for our first night. We didn't meet the owners, but everything was nicely prepared, clean and comfortable, so we could directly fall asleep after this very long first day of driving. The Airbnb was 70 euros and totally worth the money. You can find the link to the Airbnb and also to ePress24 and the ferry download in the description below. So join us next week as we see Norway for the first time in daylight, visit the beautiful Kistefos Museum and camp for the first time at a beautiful camping spot along the road near Otta. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and see you next week.